Did you know that 90% of Americans drink coffee every single day, and more than half of them drink 300 milligrams, which is basically 4 cups of coffee? Let me tell you more about it. But before you think this is some ditch coffee, drink tea kind of propaganda, hear me out for a sec. There are legitimate reasons to drink coffee, but also legitimate reasons why you can consider tea instead for your daily energy kick. That's exactly what we're gonna do today. First of all, do you like being dependent on something? Well, for me, for instance, the feeling of independence is important. And that goes as far as being independent from substances as well. And I know people who really rely on coffee, or better said, 6 to 8 cups of coffee a day. One way or the other, that delivers extra stress to you. Imagine you don't have access to it, and you start feeling like you perform less. And with tea, it's a bit of a different story. So first of all, you can't really compare tea that we have, for example, with the tea you can have from generic brands. Those are two different things, and this has to be said before we start talking about tea, because if you think that I'm referring to the little tea bags that you can brew like this, they make a whole world of difference. That is sadly not true. And we import it directly from the farmers, which we always personally visit before we actually choose to get their tea. We sample their tea in person, and it's always loose leaf, by the way. That means that the compounds in the tea get preserved much better. You feel more than with any other teas, even from brands which present themselves like they're high-end and premium. Well, second of all, the effects of some teas we have include, well, from really energizing to really calming, or a bit of both, what I call calm focus. And I'm referring, of course, to GABA, a detailed video about which you can find somewhere there or downstairs in the description. But we'll also be drinking this tea today. And it's a very unusual tea because it also contains neurotransmitters. So the most interesting thing is that the effect of the tea is much more long-lasting than coffee, and it causes no crash. And why, do you ask? It's because of the supplementary compounds you can find in tea, like L-theanine, which causes slower release of the theine, which is an analog to caffeine, into the bloodstream. And fun fact, actually, tea contains more caffeine or theine than coffee, but you need to know how to drink the tea to get the biggest effect from them. And now, let me introduce you to the tea we'll be drinking today, which you also briefly saw. This is the GABA oolong, one of them. I think this is the Shugong one. It's a great tea, and as you can see right now, I'm also having many other experiences besides only, for example, the taste and the experience itself, or like the feeling, right, which is internal. There's also a great smell which accompanies tea, and while doing a tea ceremony, as you see me doing right now, that's also something that really forces you to calm down and get into a tea vibe, basically. And you can continue smelling this incredible aroma for as long as you like. And the interesting thing about high-end teas like this is that they really grow in their smell and taste while drinking them. So with an oolong like this, which is also great for beginners if you're watching, you really get a wide taste and smell palette. So let's continue. I'll, by the way, tell you more about how to drink the tea later if you're an absolute beginner as well. And for now, let's look at the best teas you can use to substitute your daily coffee and get focused and receive a calmer kind of energy instead of the jittery, high peak and low ravine kind of energy an espresso can give you. So let's start with the shu and sheng pu-erhs. Pu-erhs are a type of fermented teas, and shu basically means processed and sheng means raw. Shu often has a very earthy, dark taste, which you could place in the same corner as coffee based on its intensity. For many people, it can be a very energizing drink, and some truckers I know swear by it to keep them awake at night. As I said, it's great that theine gets released over a longer period of time, so you could stay energized for about 4 to 6 hours from a thermos of this tea, or 4 to 7 cups if you do it the Gongfu way, which you actually see right here. As a quick explanation as to what I'm doing, you see here a nice Yixing clay teapot, which is one of the great ways you can make tea like this. And you pour it out immediately, so you make some very short infusions. As you can see, I've just infused this for a couple of seconds and you already have a beautiful color and also, of course, a nice smell and taste. However, we pour the first infusion out. By the way, if you've already known a bit about the way of infusing, please be mindful of everybody who's not yet acquainted with this. So right now, let's continue. Shengs are sometimes called the energy drink of teas, as they're often much more fruity and green tea-like. So they are a bit more difficult to infuse, as over-infusing them can lead to a bitterness, but if you do it right, they're amazingly fresh and have many surprising notes. Their effects are very energizing, and it's worth trying out both, so sheng and shu, to see which one works and tastes best for you and your needs. Well, next category is GABA oolongs, and this is such a wonderful category. It's so broad because in the oolong category you can find so many tastes, smells and effects, from fresh, almost vegetable, green grass-like, to a deep roasted nuts and raisin-like taste. That is oolong for you. So the easiest distinction to make is light fermented, dark fermented and also semi-fermented. Light fermented is fresh and fruity, among others. Semi-fermented can be a delicate mix of both worlds, so think nutty and fruity at the same time. This is a bit of what this oolong is all about. And then you have the fully dark fermented, and that's a bold, full-bodied taste. Some of those teas, the completely fermented one, can have a hint of coffee in the palate, and all of that without aromatizers, mind you. And now add GABA to this amazing mix, you get one of the best, undervalued but natural study/productivity supplements on the planet. GABA is a neurotransmitter, and this blows many people's minds, literally, because it's naturally found in your brain, like oxytocin, for example. Probably mispronounced that, but stick with me. Or serotonin. It's a compound that, among other functions, is anti-anxiety, and here's the kicker: it improves focus and concentration for hours on end. I'm also a student at a very busy university program, and this is a tea that's a great tool to help me focus and get into a state of flow, which many productivity experts really try and grasp and get. However, you can't really get addicted to it, and I think that's a great feature. So, cheers to the GABA oolongs. And now, onto the last but not least category, herbals. They're a great option if you like some other taste than the teas I've suggested before, or if you're just not that much into tea, or main thing, if you don't want caffeine. So we have a great selection, and even without theine or caffeine, herbals can be quite energizing if you choose the right one. We have many herbal mixes, some of them with sag and dahlia, for example, which is a herbal that wakes you up really well. Herbals are also notoriously easy to prepare. Just throw them in a teapot for 5 to 10 minutes and you can't overbrew them. They will just get stronger in taste, but many of them don't get bitter, for example, like a sheng pu-erh or a green tea. A great suggestion, if you don't want to think about it that much and just want something that tastes great and works well, herbals, best pick. And with that being said, I will continue to the final part of this energy manual. The way you make the tea changes the compounds that get extracted. Of course, you can just use a thermos. However, in many scenarios, it isn't the optimal option. The tea can get overbrewed and you will have much less control over its taste. Generally, it's just not as enjoyable. So my suggestion would be either pre-infuse your tea at home using either one of the many gongfu tea methods, which are also very mindful and help you de-stress, which in turn helps you focus better. Or you can find more on that and how to do a full-fledged ceremony, plus what you need for that here or on my channel. It really contributes to a better taste, effect, and ultimately a better experience. Or you can get a super handy tea bottle. Oh no, is this a product plug? Well, yes. This is a product I fully believe in will make your life much easier and tastier. So I'm gonna just magically make it appear here. 1 second. Ta-da! The power of GABA. So this is a great accessory, especially if you're very busy, because let me just actually unpack it for you. It is also double walled and very qualitatively made. Of many tea friends, this is the best friend / accessory that they could get themselves. So here we have it, right? So you can take this one anywhere. It's glass but double walled, so the tea doesn't cool down fast. And you can infuse it following the Gongfu Cha quick infusion method. That makes it quite unique because not many other thermoses give you that possibility. Many other thermoses just throw the tea in and that's it. But here you have a special compartment which you can drop the tea in, and also a little sieve which will keep it from mixing with the water. So you can just take the tea with you and fill it up with hot water at work, for example. So it's perfect for a busy life, the office, university, you name it. I use it every day. And assuming you have a busy life as you're looking at options to replace coffee, this is also it. This is the end of the video. So thank you so much for spending your time on tea, but believe me, this can unlock a whole new world for you. Calm energy, people, that's where it's at. And by the way, don't forget to check out our Instagram for more knowledge about tea, for a daily moment of calm. And if you're interested in anything that you see here, you can also look at our website, because there we have 130 plus teas, among which herbals, some exquisite teas, oolongs, red teas, anything you would like. And also we have our whole tea-wear collection, which you can find offline in our club, among others, for example. We also have that online. And if you would like to come around for a relaxing ceremony, that's also a thing you can do at our club. We're basically the biggest offline and online hub for tea and tea culture in the Netherlands. So with that being said, thank you again. This was Dima from Moi Chai. Thank you for watching. And bye-bye.